Hi, this is G-Tom Mac on the Tim O and Harley Show. Rock it.
Welcome to the Tim O and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Tim O and Harley Show. I am Tim O. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Hannah Barbarella Harley. How the hell are you?
Hey, what's good, buddy? How are you today?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Another loss. This isn't a personal loss. Thank the heavens. Thank the stars. It's not a personal loss this week, but it is a artistic youth loss, I guess. Tobe Hooper passed away in the space-time continuum, as we call it. This is probably week-old news for everybody, but that's pretty sad. That was we wouldn't know our buddy John Dugan without a Tobe Hooper.
No, we wouldn't, would we?
You know, if you think about it. Yeah. So, but and I know everybody in Texas Chainsaw was his classic film, but Harley and I have a real soft spot for the Funhouse, and I think some Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and Poltergeist is a fine movie, too.
It is. It is.
Work on Poltergeist?
He did, and there's all kinds of different stories, how much he directed it, how much Spielberg did, but he was certainly there. He was certainly a part of it.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but condolences to his friends and family and Dugan and that whole cast and everything. So, definitely lost an artist. Not every movie he made was great, Ben Harley. Not every movie he made was great, but he had some good ones, and some of the stinkers were kind of fun, like Spontaneous Combustion. You know, that was one of his flicks, and that's pretty stupid, but it's kind of entertaining, you know, in a way and stuff. So, but that's a lot of. We've lost a lot. Who we got left? Carpenter.
Yeah, seriously.
I guess Carpenter is still alive, and good Lord. Of course, the chain smoker is still alive, right?
Yeah, seriously. He lights them right off. He lights one right from the next, right?
Yeah. The guy who's most corpse looking is still kind of kicking it. But and in all seriousness, though, condolences to Mr. Hooper's friends and family, and he left us some pretty cool movies. I can guarantee you, I will be going back and watching till the end of my days as well. So
absolutely. No, I feel bad. It's just he was a good director. He directed some really great films too. Ones that are very, very memorable. And plus, like I said, he did the Funhouse, for crying out loud, Tim. That's right.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to get past that one. It's the Funhouse. It's the Funhouse, and I know it's not the most popular movie in the circuit or in the horror. I mean, I don't know why it should be, but well. Is what it is, Ben Harley. Is what it is. So
right.
Let's see here. Moving on to stuff I watched this week. I got a few things to talk to you about here. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Sure, Tim. Okay.
Watched Angio picked this one out. It was I believe on Saturday or Sunday night. You know, just we were gonna watch one of our official films and didn't seem like she wanted to watch it, so we ended up watching Opera, the Dario Argento film Opera. From 1987. So not too bad. Had a pretty decent time watching it. I think that Opera, it's one of his last really good movies. Trauma came after Opera. But Argento, talk about guys who have the mighty fallen. But still back in the good years though of Argento. So we had a pretty decent time watching that. Let's see here. Well, now Svengoolie, Ben Harley. Svengoolie had a movie on, and I was watching something else, and I already had this movie on DVD, so I did not watch this on Svengoolie, but it was on Svengoolie, and Angio and I watched Murders in the Rue Morgue from 1932 with Bela Lugosi in it. And funny thing about Lugosi, he's like the main guy in this flick. Unfortunately, he has a Laguna brow. So that was a little bothersome. The film was actually directed by Robert Flores, who did a lot of kind of classic Hollywood stuff, but he also directed Beast with Five Fingers, which we have reviewed before. Okay. Yeah. And Jack Pierce did the makeup. And what's kind of interesting too is that a lot of that German expressionist kind of influenced with all the weird, crazy angles and all that stuff. I tell you what, the buildings, it's supposed to be taking place in Paris. Apparently back then Paris was Dr. Seuss land. Because the buildings look like giant socks and things, you know. And so, I mean, did Paris really look like that? Like back in the 1800s? They must have mistaken the artists for architects at the time. Right. And, yeah. What's pretty funny though is it's an Edgar Allan Poe. It's based on an Edgar Allan Poe story. Yeah. And whereas in the Edgar Allan Poe story, you're kind of following a mystery. This movie's kind of more of a straight horror film. And it's funny.
A long time since I've seen that. Yeah.
Well, it's a gorilla movie. It's basically a gorilla movie. What's funny is when they're making the movie, they have close-ups of a chimpanzee's face, and then they edit real quick to the Three Stooges gorilla suit guy. And then a chimpanzee close up on the face. It's not even remotely convincing at all. But I'll tell you what, though, the movie, I forgot how it's a rough movie. I mean, I think it was pre-code, pre-Hays Code or whatever, and they got away with a little bit. Some on-screen kind of brutal stabbings and stuff and things like that. Really? So yeah. I tell you what, Lugosi's pretty good in it too. So not too bad. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of glad we watched it. Let's see here. Watched a movie, Ben Harley, on Amazon Prime, The Mystery of Mr. Wong. And of course, once again, typecasted as a Chinese super sleuth, we have Boris Karloff. It's clunky. It's a clunky movie. And you're sitting there watching Karloff going, oh, geez. And then watching the actual true Oriental actors in it, trying to look at Karloff. Like, I could have done that without the makeup, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah. Let's see here. Watched a documentary on voodoo. Voodoo. Okay. Yeah. One of the free with ads thing on Voodoo they had. Now, Harley, this was a frustrating movie. And as soon as I read the title, you're going to know why. Okay. Now, this is a newly produced documentary called 50 Best Horror Movies You Haven't Seen.
Oh boy. Okay.
Can you imagine the venom that was spewing from my mouth while I was watching this thing? The Funhouse was one of them. The Funhouse was one of the movies that you've never, and I'm like, I've seen all these movies, every single one of them. You know, of course, Angie was downstairs. She wasn't really watching, but she was like, you realize this is for normal people, right?
People.
You know, not like this.
Exactly.
You know? But I tell you what, number one, here's an example, and this bothered me. I just want to say, listen, all you documentary filmmakers, if you guys want to talk about movies that are from, let's say, the golden era, and I'm going to even expand the golden era and say from like 87 back to like 3 would have been The Exorcist, I guess. Anything like between there, come and talk to me. Okay, because I won't say stupid things like their number one film you've never seen is Black Christmas from 74.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, fine. Okay. I'm sure a lot of millennials have not seen Black Christmas. Oh, and by the way, if you're going to also do this, if you don't come and get me, can you find someone at least within 10 years of my age? People who actually lived through the era so they can actually talk and speak on. We're still alive, Ben Harley. We're the greatest movie generation, and we're still alive. You can come and talk to us. So they got Black Christmas number one, and one of the idiots who's a commentator comes on and says, this was basically the first slasher. The first slasher.
What?
They made a little movie called Psycho in 1960.
That's what I was thinking.
And I mean, it could be argued that isn't the first, quote, slasher film, but come on, it's earlier. So that's like a little example. I'm like, no, it's not. Now, it was an early, I don't know, slasher movie when they had the tropes and stuff of guy being in the house, this and that. But it was frustrating. I'm getting some of these list movies. They need to come talk to me, Bob. You know, somebody that knows what they're talking about. Anyway, so it was a pleasure to watch it, but a little frustrating, as you can tell.
Sounds like it, yeah. Well, you know how frustrated I got with that one book. I read the greatest, you know, how they would rate all the horror films, you know, and I could not wait to get done with that book.
Right. Oh yeah.
The book actually made it. Oh my God. It's one person's opinion.
Right.
Really, too.
Right.
So,
you know. Watched Harley. Now, you know, I've been on kind of an Exorcist freak out, right?
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I watched Exorcist II, The Heretic.
How'd that treat you?
From 1977. Directed
that made
by
the Exorcist TV show look great.
Well, yeah. And it was made by John Excalibur Borman. I mean,
really?
Yeah. And
I did not know that.
Oh, I mean,
what happened?
You know what? I don't know. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. I was looking this thing up while I was watching it. And the reason I've always watched it is because at that era, Linda Blair was on fire to me. She was curvy. Yeah, she had a little pudgy face. She was cute as hell. Curvy. Yeah, you name it. I loved her. And I don't even feel like taking a shower after watching this one, even though she's probably 18 or something. But apparently Martin Scorsese liked it. And so did
the movie?
Yeah, so did Tarantino, which that doesn't count. He likes stupid shit just to like it, you know. But I'm like, God, it was just it's terrible. It's just a terrible, terrible movie. It was made okay.
It's so long and drawn out. I remember as a kid, that was one of the first like horror films I remember watching, thinking, this kind of stinks, man. Like, it's just boring, you know. And I'm like, okay, there's like 2 or 3 scenes that I do remember from it that I thought were pretty memorable. But like, it's just boring, so boring. And then the whole, you know, didn't she go in for like some something or another?
It's a hypnosis machine, and that's how the demon gets. I don't know. It gets goofy, and it gets just, I don't know. I just didn't. It's just not good. There's some really good shots, real good production things going on, but the story and it's just dumb. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah. I had to wash my eyeballs off, Harley, so I had to go to Exorcist 3. Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. You know, of course, that's a good one.
No, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Just recently, watching it it's fun to go back and watch. I haven't sat and watched it in a couple years, you know. But yeah, what a great movie Exorcist 3 is. It's just, for me, that it washed the bad taste of Exorcist 2 out of my mouth.
Yeah.
When that came out, I was like, oh, okay. Now we're back to what, you know, we're not talking about archaeology, and we're not, you know, locusts and blah, blah, blah. Let's, you know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, the Exorcist 2 is just too long and drawn out. It just makes me tired watching it.
Well, it's missing William Peter Blatty. I mean, William Peter Blatty didn't have anything to do with Exorcist 2, but he did with the third one. He directed it and wrote it. I mean, when William Peter Blatty, of course, wrote the first one, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there was a thread that was broken. And then, of course, Ed Flanders is this brilliant Exorcist 3, and I think he's not in it enough. Yeah. Not in it enough.
Right. You know, it would have been, it's kind of sad when he died. And I was like, not him. You know, but that did set up a nice hatred for, you know, for George C. Scott's character. He's very, you know, after that, just kind of put him on edge, you know, in that movie too.
Right.
So,
but
yeah, what a great movie. I enjoy that one thoroughly. Now, like I said, Exorcist 2, I haven't seen it in a number of years, but it was just one of those I never really cared to see. And I remember watching it a number of times when I was a kid. And I just like, oh man, it's just, I don't know. It's a painful movie to me. It's so boring.
Yeah.
So boring. It was like you took this great movie, The Exorcist, where it keeps you on your, you know, you're on the edge of your seat. You're on pins and needles. You're clutching, you know, your pillow. You're scared to death. And then you go into this boring, I was like, how does this happen? Even as a kid, you know, and I was young when that came out. I was like, how is this? How do you go from that to this? Like, ugh.
I don't know.
That's one of my least favorite horror films. Like second
Right.
part twos. Well,
apparently
so
William
bad.
Peter Blatty and Frank or Friedkin got together and talked about a sequel, and nothing could pan out. They couldn't figure anything that would
I'm
work.
surprised.
And then this thing
That's
came
crazy.
out, but not from them. It came out, and William Peter Blatty said that he went and saw it in a theater, and about 10 minutes in, he just started laughing. And he said he was the first one in the crowd to start laughing. And then everybody else started laughing. And then he said people started actually throwing things at the screen. Now, during the premiere, as the movie was going on, somebody, apparently this is Hollywood legend, somebody actually stood up and said, the assholes responsible for this piece of shit are in the theater right now. And the audience chased the executives down the street.
Wow.
They hated the movie so bad they chased them down the street. Yeah. I'll tell you, but I tell you,
It is nothing like the first one.
No, it's not. But if you go on IMDb and stuff like that, you will find a lot of people who like this and defend it. And I call those people hobos. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about. They don't. I mean, they're really digging way too deep into cinema, and I don't believe they're horror fans. And they didn't want a horror movie, and they didn't get one because it's not really a horror movie. It's kind of a drama, the pickup.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just bad. But that's enough of the Exorcist 2 anyway. But the Exorcist 3 was a hell of a lot of fun. Exorcist 2 reminded me why I don't like it. Basically, it's like eating Long John Silver's. You got to eat it every now and then to remind you how bad it is. Okay, so. Next up, Harley. Now, I watched this movie and I just wanted to speak on it only because of one little piece of it. Okay. Watched a movie called Into the Abyss, which is another documentary directed by Werner Herzog. It's a murder.
Oh, yeah. I watched this. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a movie about the murder, the kids, they just to steal the Camaro. These kids wanted to steal a Camaro. Okay.
A little bit.
So they wanted to steal. So they murdered like 3 people over a fucking car, which is, it's just disturbing to watch this thing and to see these people talk about it. They're all blaming each other and stuff. But maybe you know where I'm going with this then. But
okay.
One of the kid who was on death row, okay, was telling the story. I guess he was talking about how his parents were just not the coolest parents or some shit. I don't know. But they said they sent him on a canoe trip for 2 weeks in the Everglades. Okay. Yeah. So he's talking about this trip to Werner Herzog, and he's like, there were gators. He goes, I don't know what would have happened if I would have fallen out of the boat. There was gators everywhere. I mean, you could just reach out and grab the bugs. I mean, it was terrible. And the monkeys. And Werner Herzog goes, monkeys? He goes, yeah. He goes, there was monkeys swinging from the trees. He goes, and we were all trying to figure out where the hell they came from. Whoa. Slow down. We're in Florida. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Monkeys?
Right,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't call me stupid for not even believing, but believing the possibility of Bigfoot when you're seeing flying monkeys in the Everglades. Now, here's the thing. Both of us know it's very highly likely and possible that like the skunk ape and stuff like this are probably escaped animals from zoos during hurricanes and stuff. You would imagine they'd all be accounted for, but Ben Harley, I got a funny feeling there might be a few slightly tame anacondas going through the water. And I'm sure a couple of orangutans or some rhesus monkeys or something, got out. But I was blown away. Like, that's the whole documentary. I was like, and I'd seen it before.
Yeah, but like I said, it does start a little slow for me, which is no surprise.
Right.
So, and it was funny because Wendy and I were watching it, and I think we watched this one pretty much right after another one I talked to you about called Killing Season. And this one I was like, it just started real slow, and I myself was like, I don't know about this, but Wendy's like, no, let's stick with it, and actually it ended up being pretty good. I thought, it is really weird because you got Werner Herzog's like his accent, with going up against a lot of Southern draws, it's just, there's kind of a stark comparison, but just the movie itself, they go through and they talk to like everybody from the priest who, performs the ceremony for death row to the bailiff or the sheriff's deputy that's there for the, to strap the guy into the ground. They go through everything, know, but it's a really odd to me documentary, and what I guess I mean is it's not odd. It's just it feels different than your regular documentary.
Yeah.
It feels like a movie.
Yeah, it's Werner Herzog.
And I think that's exactly. And just like how we loved Incident at Loch Ness,
right?
I think I like Werner Herzog mostly for the fact that he's willing to do different things like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I thought this was fantastic after I finished watching it. Now, there's some stuff in there. It's just, you feel for some of these people too, because it talks to all the people affected.
Right.
Not just, the people whose, brothers and mothers were killed, but the other people who did the killings, parents and people and stuff. So it touches on a lot of stuff, but, that was a good one, Tim. I watched that as well, and to me, it was one of the more interesting documentaries I've watched in a while.
Yeah, I mean, and when I sat down, I think I realized I had seen it, but I think Angie was downstairs. I think she was doing some painting or something, and I was just going to have something on, and I was actually looking through Amazon for other stuff for our house that we're building and stuff. So I just had that on, but. Man, that monkey comment, it just brought out the Bigfoot hunter in me. And I'm telling you, the rest of it, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, the movie's good. I'm glad you watched and everything. Forget all that. The monkeys. The monkeys. The hell? Now, in fairness, this was a kid on death row, and he was a little shifty-eyed. He looked like he hadn't blinked in 10 years. But hadn't blinked in 10 years or told the truth in 5. So it was kind of hard to tell. But it looked like this wasn't one of those things. This was one of the real things he was grabbing onto to propagate a different lie. But who knows? But still, it still made me think, anybody else think that's odd? They're seeing monkeys in Florida. So anyway, I thought that was for all the Bigfoot folks out there. We don't talk much about it off season, and there's a little Bigfoot sprinklage for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Speaking of Bigfoot, Harley, did you get to catch any Bigfoot stuff or any movies this week?
No, not really anything big. Well, I take that back, Tim. There were some of the monsters and mysteries in America that they've been,
Oh, okay.
So I did catch a little bit of those. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Some of them are just really weird.
Nothing new though,
wow,
right?
You really nothing really new. No,
okay. Okay.
So.
Well, yeah. Didn't you say it was Bigfoot's birthday?
Silly. Yeah, they were doing on Destination America, is that it? Or right? Yeah, Destination America. They were doing supposedly it was on Monday was Bigfoot's birthday. And I think and I don't understand because Bigfoot has been seen for many years. Like, didn't Teddy Roosevelt see one and thought he did, so this was supposed to be like on August 27th, somebody had first sighting of a Bigfoot. Okay. So they were doing Bigfoot's birthday. Basically what they're doing, like you were saying too, they're just a reason to show old episodes and stuff.
Nothing new then, huh?
So they basically just ran that stuff all weekend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I caught a little bit of it, but the one was Yeti or Not.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That one, same thing for me. Boring. Right. 2 hours for this.
Right.
We're just basically, it's a polar bear mixed with a bear and bull crap. Come on. Right. I'm sorry. Right. So yeah, I was just kind of loosely watching it, going back and forth between that and another show. It's just a little too boring for me, and I don't really do well with boring. And my whole thing is, the whole concept of it's mistaken identity and all that. I'm not, but I've never been on that train. So,
right. Isn't a guy like a British or Australian guy? How the hell is he gonna fool a Sherpa? Like, he knows better than a Sherpa does, like what they're seeing and stuff. It's and here's the thing too, like they use that as proof. Yeah, the Sherpa don't even. You know what? The Sherpa looks at the guy going, I'm not talking about this Yeti shit anymore. It's a big animal that spooks us like once a millennia. It's something up there. That's enough. I got work to do.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what I kind of feel like at this point. But that bothers me too. It's the mistaken identity. It's like, are you saying that every single person who's seen a Yeti has seen that? And if you can't claim that, then you can't know for sure that that's it. I don't know, Harley.
It just kind of takes the fun out of it. It looks like, they're trying to, and I understand, but all the DNA samples and all this stuff that they, and none of it ever comes out to be anything, and so their whole premise or whatever kind of got shot down to the whole polar bear mixture with a bear thing. Just, Speaking of bears, Timo.
Oh,
Yeah. I was lucky enough to watch a movie called Grizzly II.
oh, what? You must have really been working hard. You went back and watched a work print of a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were laboring.
Yeah, I was, Timo. Grizzly II. I know we reviewed this on the Timo and Harley show,
Sure
but yeah, you know, and it's so funny because that movie has some decent actors in it and stuff, and it's not like that bad of a premise or whatever, but oh man, the end's where it gets really, really bad. The work print, like the end, like last 10, 15 minutes where the sound goes completely out pretty much.
Yeah.
And then they show the same scene of a Jeep flipping over like 4 times.
Right,
you know,
right.
5 times.
Yeah. They're showing you
And then the
every
one guy-
take of what they got.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The one guy dies and then he ends up back to life again there.
Yeah.
And he dies the same way again. It's just,
What did they put in the place of the bear too? Didn't they put like a paw or something or a?
yeah, they would have a paw. They did have one like grizzly head,
Uh-huh.
and it did, but it looked like a big teddy bear or something,
Right.
giant teddy bear.
Right.
And then I know at the end, like there's supposed to be a rock concert, Timo,
Yeah.
and there's some great music in there.
Oh.
What was one of the songs, Timo? Takes the milk from the coconut.
Get the milk
right?
from the coconut. Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. It smells
Yeah,
Canadian.
basically the movie's the movie's basically and it's got Deborah Foreman in it. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's oh my god.
Oh, we need to ask her
Wow.
about that. Unless we see
Yeah.
her. I keep forgetting that. She's in that thing too. I know Laura Dern and Charlie Sheen and was it George Clooney or something? I'm pretty sure one's Laura Dern, one's Charlie Sheen. Here, hold on a second. Yes, George Clooney, Laura Dern, Charles Cyphers from Halloween's in it. Richard Jekyll. Oh, I guess that's a flashback they were supposed to have.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen. Yeah, Deborah Foreman, Louise Fletcher, John Rhys Davies, Deborah Rathan. Yeah. Steve Inwood, who was just one W away from being Steve Winwood. That's frustrating for his pocketbook, you know. But yeah, it's a bad movie, and it is a work print basically of something that you kind of look at going, you kind of wish it did come out, but it probably would have been up there with Exorcist 2, even if it had been finished, I would think.
Yeah. Oh. But I did enjoy it. I must say I got a lot of chuckles out of it. Real quick, I guess, Tim, let me run through. I got a couple things here that I watched. I still finished the World War One shows I've been watching. I've watched a little bit more of those. Those are still really good. Very informative. I do enjoy those. Let's see here, Timo. I've been working a lot of nights and weekends, Timo. So
you got a rough
Me TV,
boss.
I had, I tell you, he's an ass. But I did not know on Me TV on Saturday mornings has the Abbott and Costello show and also the Little Rascals. So I got to watch a little bit of that the other morning. And boy, was that fun. Oh, man. I love Abbott and Costello, but I forgot about their TV show. Or I forget about it sometimes. And man, it's fun. Just, poor Lou Costello just gets roughed up all the time by people. The one episode they're having like a little party or something, and Bud Abbott keeps saying, turn on the radio. These kids want to dance. These people want to dance. Turn on, and he'd turn it on, and then the neighbor would come over, and the neighbor's all just shoveled and like, I'm trying to sleep, and just beats just pummels on Lou Costello. And then, he leaves, and then they do the same thing again. Like, oh, come on, don't worry about him. Just turn it back on. And, turns the music back on. The guy just comes in, and the more times the guy comes in, the more whippings he puts on Lou Costello. And I was just in tears, like laughing. I'm like, oh, I miss this stuff. Oh my God. Because it's so silly. I understand it. It's slapstick silliness, but man,
right.
Wow. I tell you, Lou Costello took a lot of bumps, man. Let me tell you, that guy
sure did.
He did a lot too. He was always getting a whooping. But I found it. I only got to see a couple minutes. Like it might have been the last segment of the show. But that was good. And then it said went right into Little Rascals. And I love the Little Rascals a lot.
Yeah.
The first one, there was 3 episodes I got to watch. First one was Our Gang.
Right.
There was 2 of the 3 were Our Gang, and the other one was the Little Rascals. But
gotcha.
Good stuff too. Just it was good for the soul. Let me tell you, good for laughing. And I just love those so much. I think they're so funny. Little Rascals and Abbott and Costello for sure. But what a nice treat, I guess, as far as something fun to watch. You know what I mean? So
right.
Let's see here, Timo. Also, real quick, I'll go through these 3 real fast. Watch that Batman Dracula cartoon. Is really good. So I think if you get a chance, maybe you and Chance could watch it. You could probably find it. It basically Batman takes on Dracula. The Joker's in it, and then like the Penguin's kind of like Dracula's Renfield in it, a little bit and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. I think you and Chance would both enjoy it.
What year did that come out?
I'm going to put it within the last 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here, buddy. Let me see. Also, I've been watching a lot of Comet lately, and they had the other night I watched American Werewolf in London.
Oh,
now I didn't get to see the first. It was after he got to the hospital. So I missed a little bit, but I finished watching the rest of it, and I think I know what happens before then. I've seen it a few times, but they've been playing that lately. It was on again yesterday too. So kudos to Comet for throwing one of the greatest movies of all time on there.
Absolutely.
And then one last thing I want to touch on, Tim. I saw a commercial for this yesterday, and it has Bruce Willis in it, and he's going around and like something happens to his family, and he's going around killing people and stuff. And there at the end, they are redoing Death Wish.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Death Wish with Bruce Willis, because I kept thinking, man, this looks oddly familiar.
Right. Right.
And then, so I'm not sure. It from what I saw, it looked okay, but I don't know. I think I like the original Death Wish movie. That's a hardcore film.
Yeah,
that's not a let's go out and throw in some one-liners and things like that type film.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a gritty. I remember when I first saw it as a kid, it shocked me a little bit at first. It really did. I just, I didn't expect that much or that kind of grotesque violence, know? And that was before he got started,
Right.
But yeah, I've always liked the Death Wish movies for the most part. I like 1 and 2 a lot. But I don't know. Do we need a Death Wish? I don't know. I guess I'm glad that they got Bruce Willis to do it. I'd rather see him than some other jackass, but yet I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean,
it's nothing I'm going to run to the movie theater for.
No, actually I got the whole series of those on Blu-ray, I think last Christmas. And it's kind of funny how, yes, Death Wish is a gritty, tough movie. And then as the sequels go on, they were canon movies. So the sequels came on, they got a little more exploitive. But to be honest with you, they got more fun. And I think by the third or fourth one, they even took rape out of it and stuff. They just made him just a general revenge guy, doing stuff. But I don't know. I enjoy the films. I guess they're guilty pleasures in a way, But you're right. The first one's a tough one. That's a tough one. Yeah, definitely. But we'll see how they do.
Should be, I guess, for what it is, but, but still, it's like, I don't know. I'm a little tired of the rehashing of stuff.
Yeah, I am too.
Only for the fact, I think a lot of it hurts it. But then again, if it weren't for rehashes like The Thing and some other stuff, I never would have got to see some of my favorite films too.
Right.
So,
I think that there's like The Thing is a good example. First of all, always say it's based on a book. So it's different to me to go back and do something, but it's almost like you could see that they couldn't do what they did in The Thing when the thing was made. But Death Wish, what are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do except change it? shooting on video instead of film. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do? I sometimes it's like the Friday the 13th remake. I was like, why? What are you going to do? I mean, I don't know. Right? I don't know. It's a money grab if you ask me. And everybody wants to reboot, rehash, remake. And it's just like, oh, for crying out loud. I mean, I've seen so many different remakes that they're still pushing. And I mean, how many of these have been any good? But how many have lost money? That's probably a better
that's where you got to follow the money trip.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. And I like Bruce Willis, and that might be, I don't love him, but I mean, he's all right. And I think that might work out.
I mean, if I would think about anybody, it would probably be him, as far as especially some old tough dude. You know what I mean? I guess.
Right.
I really can't think of anybody else right offhand.
Well, that's true too, because these days they try to like totally, like, I'm surprised Halle Berry isn't playing the star. You know what I'm saying? Like these days they try just to change everything. It's like, oh, just make a different movie with the same plot like they used to in the 80s. Stick a different title on the damn thing. Do what you want to do. I don't know, Harley. Am I getting cranky?
A little bit, but then again, you got every right to be. So, I didn't mean to make it cranky. But,
No, but it does make me think about that.
But so there we go. We have Death Wish, and Tim, I got to watch a few other things, but we'll, we talk about some of that stuff later. But Grizzly II, check it out.
Get your milk out of the coconut. Don't. Yeah, right. All right, well, let's get to our official little films, Ben Harley. And as I've been talking about, we're not gonna do a weekly song anymore. We're gonna play songs. Send me some. Yeah. If you guys want some played, but we're just moving forward here without a weekly one. So, and we do have some holidays coming up, so we'll play a couple of holiday themed tunes. Or we're getting closer. But first up, Ben Harley from 1959. We have the film The Alligator People. Now, this movie is about giant shrimps.
Alligator person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me get you a short synopsis here. And let me get out movie guy. Oh boy. You want a couple blurbs? Couple poster blurbs here?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
I have to have some,
Nerve-shattering terror. All right, there's one. The alligator people will make your skin crawl. Okay. And here's one more. Her honeymoon turned into a nightmare of horror. All right, that's that one. Let's get you to a short synopsis here. Again, 1959, The Alligator People. Here we go. A woman in a hypnotic state recounts to two doctors the details of a horrific experience from her past life that began with a mysterious and sudden disappearance of her husband. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, it says it all.
It does.
Okay, basically, here, let me give you my synopsis here, Ben Harley, which can be more informative sometimes. Okay.
Sometimes, yes. For sure.
Let's see. Basically, the main guy and his past, the main guy meaning the main woman's female's husband or newly married husband here. He has been in a plane crash and he gets healed with alligator juice. Let's see then. So they get married. They're, reading letters that were sent to them on their honeymoon, which nobody needs to know an address on a honeymoon. Let's see here. He gets wrinkly. He bolts, takes off, leaves his wife high and dry on a train, I believe. Then the wife tries to find him in rich people's mansions in swampland. While Lon Chaney stumbles around pissed off at gators for eating his drinking hand.
Early Quint, as I would like to say. It's a very early version of Quint.
You damn gators, you took my drinking hand. And yes, all told by the wife.
He is angry.
Yes, all told by the wife in flashback under hypnosis.
Under hypnosis.
Under hypnosis, yes. I'll tell you what, they do try to say that, and it's Beverly Garland is the main gal in the film. They do try to prop her up because I always like that when the two doctors were talking before they introduce her and they kind of say what's going on. They're like, well, there's a woman and we gonna bring her in. We're gonna talk to her. We're gonna put her under hypnosis. You need to hear this story about the alligator people, and that's how they kind of start off. But they always say, "Oh, she's good looking. She's attractive. She's good looking." To get you like convinced she's good looking no matter what she looks like. Okay. Well, Beverly Garland, she's okay, but she ain't no Mara Corday. All right.
No,
so she comes in. So yeah, she starts spouting off this story here. Now, have you seen this? You've seen this, right?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, Tim, over the years. Yeah. I don't think I've seen the whole thing. No.
Well, now you have.
Now I have.
Yeah. So what'd you think in totality of the Alligator People?
It's an okay film. I think, with the whole intrigue at first, because they're on the train and then all of a sudden he opens some mail and then he like runs to the porter, like, I need off the train, where are we stopping at next? And well, we're stopping such and such, but we can only be there for a few minutes. There's not enough time to go use a phone.
Right.
And he just ditches her, like they're on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
it's tough, dude.
So
yeah,
and you feel for her too, because it's just like, what just happened?
Right.
So I do like the fact of the intrigue. It's kind of pulls you in at first because you're like, I don't know. And then once she gets down to, are they in the Everglades, Timo? Is that where they're?
They're down there. They're in some swamps.
Yeah. Is there some monkey swinging around?
There might be some monkey swinging around. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, once she gets down there and she actually finds out through where he went to school, like his main address.
Right.
So, but yeah, so she goes on to this mansion and then, a lot of crazy stuff happens. And when she meets up with Lon Chaney Jr.'s character, from that point on, I was pretty well hooked. Now, you know me, I'm a Lon Chaney Jr. fan.
Yeah, baby.
In this movie, I think he was good and bad. It would just go he was really good, and then he'd be like, and that's, I don't know, a little over the top.
Right.
But I liked his character because he made a little edgy too, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I like the fact that he was missing his hand and I swear to God, and this is going to sound so mean of me, but my favorite part of the movie is he's taking her to the mansion or whatever, and he's driving like a Jeep or something, and he's mad at the alligator, so he hates alligators already. But one tries to walk across the road and he runs it over. Just bam! That's a wow, good for that guy. And I'm thinking, no, that's probably not very nice, man. No, that wasn't very nice.
Right.
But you know what I mean? It's just that to me was one of those scenes. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't see that coming, you know. But I thought it was a pretty good movie. She does find out that her husband is there.
Yeah.
And that the lady who runs the house or the mansion is his mother. And stuff, and
she comes.
Some other things.
Right when she shows up, they claim they don't know who this guy is. And she's looking for.
Who this guy
they're hiding him. They're hiding him.
So they let
basically.
her stay there.
Yes, they do let her stay
and
there.
They let her stay the night. Or
right.
Whatever, yeah.
Little gothic tinges to it. They let her stay, and she's trying to figure out where he is, and she kind of gets suspicious, thinking that they're hiding him, and she's right.
Yeah.
And so it's not really I don't know. It's more of a sci-fi movie than a true horror film, though, because really the monster through part of it is really Lon Chaney. I mean, he's kind of more of a threat, I guess, to anybody until the very end when the guy, when the gator monster that wrestled around with William Shatner in Star Trek shows up at the very, very, very end. But they're taking reptile juice and they're trying to get people healed because he was in a plane crash. And they thought they healed them all up with alligator blood or juice or whatever the hell it is. And but it doesn't last long. That's what he's reading, I think, in his letter, that he needs to go back because he's about ready to get scaly again. And he does.
And he doesn't want her to find out. Yeah,
no, he doesn't want
her to find out.
Yeah.
So, so there's, for me, maybe kind of like this movie at first too. It's one of those. Now, this is not Chainsaw Massacre or anything like that, but it had, or Children of the Corn or anything like that, but it had that feel for me. You're going to this house. They're asking you to stay in this house. You don't know who these people are. It's a little shifty. The people that work there, the help, seem a little off too. They're
Right.
a little nervous. So to me, it's like I see where a lot of these other movies, like Chainsaw Massacre and some of these other ones, where people come to a place and all is not what it seems. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that was cool. And I can see where a lot of those movies that came way after this took maybe a nod from films like this and stuff. So I did kind of enjoy that part. Now, I liked Lon Chaney, I said, but he was in and out. I think he played a good part. He was kind of a drunk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I think it really went well to him because I think he probably was drunk while he was doing it. So I don't know. But he is just upset. He is Quint. He is basically Quint, drunk Quint, almost in this film, where he's just, without the super great acting.
Right. Well, some of the makeup, the old guy or the wrinkly makeup that the main guy gets and stuff. Dick Smith worked on this, actually.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. The guy that worked on Exorcist and stuff. He is the grandfather, the grand poobah of all makeup guys. Found that kind of interesting. Directed by Roy Del Ruth. He did Topper Returns and a couple other stuff, so he knew what he was doing. Probably the most interesting thing is 20th Century Fox needed a low-budget CinemaScope monster movie to play with Return of the Fly. Okay. So they bought this movie. They didn't produce it, but they bought this. It was independently produced and they bought it. Yeah. So I'm sure it's a double feature film basically with Return of the Fly. I don't know. What are you going to do, Harley? What are you going to give it?
Tim, I'm going to give this one just a mild grape ape up. I didn't not like it. But I didn't love it either. You know what I mean? I thought it was good. My thing is, I think there needed to be more alligator people or more alligator person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's the one thing that it needed more of that. Now, I liked Lon Chaney in it. I think he was good and bad. And I think without him, this movie really would have been terrible because there really wouldn't have been any type of drama or anything, you know what I mean? Because he doesn't become the alligator man or whatever till like the last 10 minutes, maybe 10.
Yeah, 10. If that. Yeah, I mean, might be less. Yeah,
I mean, up until then he was wrinkly guy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a mild grape ape up because I enjoyed it. I think this is one of those films that I think a lot of people years later might have taken nods from. Jaws being one, maybe not, but I saw some Jaws and I saw a little other stuff.
Well, I'm sure Spielberg saw this movie, so you might not be too far off.
Yeah.
I am going to. It wasn't. I didn't like it. I've seen it before. I never have liked it. And I thought I'd give it another shot. Now that I'm more into this 50s kind of freak out, I guess I've been over the last year or two. No, it's too slow. There was no threat from any gators. They kept passing the buck on who's a threat in the film. It just, they never materialized. And now had they had the Star Trek William Shatner Gatorhead guy running around killing people, making it a little more straightforward, I probably would like this. I'd probably give it a great vape up. But unfortunately, Ben Harley, and maybe to your surprise, the 1959 film Alligator People, nope. I'm going to poop on it. So you're going to give it, was a mild grape ape
Just
up?
a mild grape.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm pooping on alligator people. I like to poop on alligator people. That's one of my favorite pastimes.
That's your thing.
Yeah, it's my thing.
That's one of your things.
Exactly. Let's get to our next official film, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here. From 1979. That's a good year. That's a good film year. We have the film Nightwing. Okay. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Dick Grayson's character after he left Batman.
That's true. No, do not confuse it with that at all. Okay. Yeah, you will finish the movie wondering why the suit wasn't any different. Yeah.
Where's Dick Grayson at?
Yeah. Right. Now there is a blurb here in the poster. All right, here, let's see. We'll get to this here. In the dead of night they come. Swift, silent, savage. Okay. Holy crap. The music was by Henry Mancini in this thing.
Was it?
Yeah. All right. One sentence synopsis. Was going to do a long one, but it's really long. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that we can discuss the plot. And here is the gist of it. Killer bats plague an Indian reservation in New Mexico. That's it.
There it is.
That's about it. Now, that is pretty much the story. Yes, killer vampire bats plague an Indian reservation in New Mexico. Now, people from India do not live in New Mexico, so this would be Native American style Indians, right? Okay. And
yes.
Let's see, 1979, directed by Arthur Hiller, who did Silver Streak. Actually did a lot of really big movies.
Love that movie.
Yeah, Arthur Hiller's done a lot of big movies. Starring Nick Mancuso from Motherlode. Actually, he's the Indian policeman guy, the Native American policeman guy. Now, not too bad of a performance from Nick Mancuso in this, actually.
No.
Let's see here. We got David Warner as Philip Payne. He's kind of a frolicky jackass. Kind of a frolicky jackass a little bit. Let's see. Stephen Macht, who we like a lot, is Walker Chi. Yeah. And then we got Charles. We got Charles Hallahan in it. Norris from The Thing. He's in a small role in it. Catherine
Very
Harold.
Small role.
Yes. Let's see. Catherine Harold, who's in Raw Deal. She's like the main chick. I swear to you, her performance was so stiff that I thought she might have been stung by a scorpion. They were trying to get her lines out before she passed out. I swear to you. I was like, what the hell? George Cloutey, right? The Abner Tusipi guy or whatever, the old medicine man guy. Look familiar to you?
From The Prophecy, right?
You got it,
From
buddy.
The Prophecy, right?
That's right. That's right. He's a Katide.
He looks a lot different.
He does look a lot different. But he's still stoned and talking some wisdom mumbo jumbo stuff. Yeah. Let's see here. Strother Martin. Got to make a mention of Strother Martin being in the damn thing. Got to have him in there.
Yeah. He needed to be in it more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not the only thing that needed to be in it more. Now, Nightwing 1979. Exactly. Did you ever catch this one on the cable or anything?
I haven't.
Oh, you didn't? All right. Well, here's your first Nightwing.
This one never played around here.
Really? Yeah. Okay. What'd you think?
Never played around here. This is for me. It's a great. It's a good movie, but it's a terrible horror movie.
Yeah.
So that's for me. That's what was kind of hard, and to me also, it's 20 minutes too long.
Yep.
It's like way too long. And the problem is with this, just like the alligator person,
right?
There is not enough bats. And I understand once they show the bats, I guess you want now you know why. But
kind of remind me of Piranha. Piranha, like the movie Piranha, the awkward speed, and they're all coming at in unison at you. Yeah.
They never ever seem to fly that way when they're showing real bats. But they'll the fake ones never truly fly like the real ones.
They're kind of like military bats. They sort of march in lockstep with each other. Yeah. They beat their wings in lockstep. Yeah. It's pretty silly looking. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, the movie, to me, it could have been a home run. And to me, this movie's only a single.
Right.
It could have, seriously, they could have really done something more. I understand though it's probably hard with the bats, but it's like, it just didn't, I don't know. It didn't really it held my attention, but it just didn't make me like, oh, wow, I wasn't scared of the bats at all by any means. And it just, I don't know. There's just a little bit too much going on around it,
Yes.
And there's just not enough bats. There's just not.
No.
To me, and that was the whole thing, because I think it's a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, it's made well. Yeah. It's produced
but it's just not a good horror film.
No.
It's a good movie, but not a good horror film.
Well, there's too much random Native American mumbo jumbo. It's just not enough bats. I mean, they never really become very threatening to anyone. I mean, you really look. Here's the thing with bats. Yeah, you really kind of have to go out of your way to be attacked by bats. Like you can avoid being attacked by bats fairly easily. Just simply going inside at night helps.
Yeah.
And I do understand that we're going after livestock and stuff like that. But yeah, A lot of dialogue, a lot of Native American. So I mean, some of the dialogue is so like 1979 preachy that they actually in one sentence cover 3 different issues at a couple points. You know, it's so you kind of roll your eyes there, and it's a little strained a little bit, but. I mean, look, here's the thing. I've never liked this movie because I always wanted to. I love David Warner. I like Stephen Mock a whole lot. I just thought this was going to be really good. And there's moments that are fine, that are really good. Now, the problem is that the bat attack at the campground is just fucking unintentionally hilarious. I mean, the people were running away making chimpanzee noises. I mean, did you notice that? Like, I was like, that's a chimpanzee. Don't tell me evolution isn't, not as long as those people are making those noises, man. That would trick a fucking Bigfoot, doing those. And here's another little tidbit too. What self-respecting Native American who is going to use an expletive would use Jesus Christ?
Right. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm being a little bit, but I do actually, I did kind of like the uneasy alliance between Nick Mancuso and Stephen Mocked, the guys from the 2 different tribes. It's not exactly, Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs or anything, but they had a pretty good thing going back and forth. If they would have kind of stuck with that and less of the Native American mysticism and stuck with more bats, like have bats attack a school or something, just do anything, besides that. I don't know. Yeah. It's a tough one for me, Ben Harley. Another really quick thing that I want to mention. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but on the radio, they were like listening to a radio broadcast. They mentioned swine flu.
Did they really?
This is 1979.
Wow.
They mentioned swine flu.
I didn't catch that one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's the little things, Harley. It's the little things I notice.
It's the little things, yeah.
Yeah. But look, this movie, I think this is a DVD Bob special too. And I hate to...
Is it? Okay.
I hate to poo-poo another movie, Ben Harley. Another movie, but I just don't like this movie. I've never liked it, and I'm going to keep wanting to like it. I think it might be Nick Mancuso. I mean, you got Motherlode. I keep screwing myself over watching that, thinking it's going to get better. It doesn't get better. It's not like fine wine. It's not getting any better. And to be quite frank with you, Nightwing, it's not getting any better either. Not getting any better either. Yeah. Harley, this week, 2 movies are for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give this 2. Can I give it 2 this time?
Yeah, you can give 2.
I'm gonna give another mild grape ape up to the movie.
Okay.
But as a horror film, I'm going to.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I'm giving it a mild and a poop all at once, because the movie itself, I thought, this is intriguing. It's got some stuff in it. I like the actors. I think I like the premise.
Right.
And all that. But it also had some Jaws type stuff in there where they're trying to make it, the whole thing, kind of like Orca, where they're telling you about what this animal is capable of, and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they set you up like that and whatever, But I think the bottom line, Timo, wasn't it too that Abner guy, or the guy from Prophecy?
Yeah, Abner. Yeah.
Yeah, he was he brought the bats, right? He brought them to kind of run out the white devils.
Yeah, he was kind of malevolent. I don't know if evil is the right word, but like a malevolent witch doctor type of guy.
Yeah.
And
I guess he was the uncle to
Nick Mancuso. Yeah. Yes, he was. And like all the other Indians were afraid of him. And they said that, he did this bad stuff sometimes, and it wasn't really compelling. I'm not afraid of the guy. It just, none of it was really grabbing me. There's either too much or not enough of everything. And it's an uncomfortable blend. It just doesn't work. The movie just doesn't work.
It's too long though, too, Tim. It's just, and I hate to be like that, but there's just like, they drag it out to the point where at one point I was like, how much longer is this movie? I'm like, God, finish it off already.
Right.
I don't like to be like that. So But I said the movie itself's good, but the horror element or whatever, it's supposed to be a horror film, it's definitely fell way short.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's like things you forget that they try, but it's so like when they wrap themselves or they build themselves in a cage with like chicken wire and they send current through the chicken wire and stuff and the bats are trying to get in, and it's not a bad scene. It's actually kind of funny. But they need more of it. They need more. I believe there's only like 2 or 3 bat attacks in the whole movie. And really, even the climax, it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I mean, the climax, nothing really happens. They just kind of fall down this giant cave pit thing, and they just start a fire and they burn them all. I mean, we've talked about this in the last couple of shows. I mean, is this? Yeah. Come on, fire. Do something. That's. It's like, I think I've heard of fire destroying things before. Can we try something else? But, it is what it is. I don't know. This is a boring movie. I mean, it's just boring, and there's like, you want to like it. There's elements that should make it more exciting, but there's not enough of anything in it.
No. And it starts off like your typical good old 70s monsters or animals run amok, movie. Mm-hmm. It does, and then it just kind of goes somewhere, because I think in that Abner guy, he's hiding the bats too. Like he knows where they're at, what cave they're in. And, so they finally find the cave. Yeah, you're right. And then they burn them up. Right. That's it.
Well, some of the other like elders, elders in the tribe and stuff, they have actually seen his spirit, I guess, walking into different caves and things. So yeah, I guess that's their clue. I don't know. And then David Warner has all kinds of gizmos and stuff. He's trying to find the bat. Like I said, everything's there to be a cool movie. There's just too much of some things and not enough of the other things. It's a bad mix. A bad mix. Yeah. So I am going to, on Nightwing. So that's, unfortunately.
Boring.
It is boring, Harley. It's unfortunately boring. So that's 2 poops on Nightwing and 1 poop by me and a mild great bait up for Alligator People. Alligator People was a little more fun. Both these movies, to me, they both had this sort of a same stale quality. They could be much better. And they're from eras I really enjoy and really love, but these two they're not my favorites. So, but no. All right, Harley. Well, hopefully we have better luck next week. But not so good this week.
No Exorcist 2.
No. I'm done with that for quite a while. And that's right over there with Motherload. That's in the Motherload pile right now. So, all right, Harley. Well, till next week, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show. Brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.